Welcome back to the Face the State Weekend Edition. I'm Brad Jones, and one of the things that can be very frustrating for younger people out in Lodo and Denver or breaking out of the bars up in Fort Collins, if you choose not to riot, as they did this last week, might be finding a cab to get you home. It can be difficult because cabs and transportation in general in Colorado are regulated to a certain extent by the Colorado Public Utilities Commission, and that's part of state law. We've had regulation of public transportation for a good number of years in Colorado, and it's been a continuing source of litigation and debate down at the Capitol. And on the line with me today is Tom Russell. He's a attorney representing an upstart organization of businessmen in Denver who are trying to start up a new taxi company, and that's a very difficult enterprise indeed. Tom, thanks for being on the program, and maybe if you can just help put into context just how difficult it is to set up a new taxi company in Colorado.
In order to form a company, you apply, and then any other of the companies in the area for which you're applying can intervene in that application, and then you go through a long hearing opposed by your competitors who fly-spec your business plan, bring in experts to say that you're not fit to do business and that your competition would hurt the state. And then once you go through all that, the administrative law judge makes a decision, and that's where we are now.
Now, that's a very unique process because pretty much for most other businesses, if you have a good idea and you have an idea that would put somebody down the street out of business possibly in our free enterprise market, you just go down and open up a bank account and start a business and get a very basic business license from the Secretary of State, and all of your friends wish you good luck. Why is it so different in transportation?
Well, for reasons that are not entirely clear to me, there remains this strong regulation and then, of course, a strong interest by the other taxi businesses trying to keep newcomers out. I understand that if we had applied, for example, to be a telecom business, we probably could have filed half a dozen sheets of paper, shown them the money we had in the bank, and we would have been in business 2 years ago.
So what is the state looking for? Your application goes to an administrative law judge first, and what kind of reception did you get there in Denver?
Well, we went up for a hearing against the principal interveners were Yellow Cab of Colorado, that's the Yellow Cab at Denver, Metro Taxi, and then also Yellow Cab of Colorado Springs, plus a couple other smaller companies. The first part of the hearing, we established that our company is managerially and financially fit, and that's a finding that the ALJ agreed with. He's concluded that we're a good company, we know how to operate a cab company, and we have money. The second part of his decision, though, he decided that our bringing competition to the market would hurt the public interest. And there's a couple of steps that he went through that, but basically the gist of it is the competition would hurt the existing carriers and therefore hurt the public interest.
Is the theory then that because there would, I guess the assumption is there's a fixed amount of taxi cab business out there, and that if you're spreading those consumers over a broader set of cabs, then maybe counterintuitively, but maybe taxi rates will rise then to make up for the difference? What's the logic there?
Well, the logic's a little hard to define. Part of it is, I think, as you say, that there's a fixed set of business, and that's something we simply disagree with. The paid opinion witnesses for the other companies call that derived demand. And we actually believe there are a lot more people who could use a lot more taxi cabs in a lot of instances if there were better service, more service, and less expensive service. But the argument is called destructive competition. And the idea should be within the law that if we were to enter the market and suddenly lay waste to the competitors and leave the people in the 5-county area in which we applied without access to any cab service, then that would be a basis for denying our claim. We don't think that there's evidence to support that anything like that will happen.
Now, is your application process a little bit different here because you are in Metro Denver, which I'm assuming is the largest taxicab market in Colorado, as it's the largest market for a lot of things? If you were trying to start this up in Grand Junction or in Aspen or in Pueblo, would this be any different? Would the process be different? And do you think you might have had it a little bit easier time getting approved?
Well, actually, no. It would be more difficult in many of those counties. The legislature very specifically changed the rules a few years ago to make it easier to enter the cab market. We applied in 5 counties: Adams, Arapahoe, Denver, Douglas, and Jefferson. Recognizing that competition was a good thing, the legislature made it relaxed the rules somewhat for entry. In the smallest counties in the state, there's a standard called regulated monopoly, in which if there's an existing carrier, that carrier gets rather extraordinary protection by the law, and you have to show that they're not meeting the service needs of the area and that they're not able to meet the service needs of the area before you can even go in and compete with them.
Now, the PUC also regulates, like you said, telecoms, and one of the justifications, and also power companies, energy, one of the justifications that they give there for having a regulated monopoly is that you can't have 10 different power companies stringing up 10 different lines on limited public right-of-way. And in the case of telecom, it's the same thing. You can't have 10 different cable companies running cable all around town. But it seems to me that even the notion in some of those smaller counties of having a regulated monopoly doesn't apply in the same way, because the market is not a fixed universe.
I agree with that completely, Brad. I think that we could readily have many more companies in the 5-county area. Right now there are 4 companies operating. I think we could have small companies. We could have a company that operates in a particular neighborhood, a company that specializes in Old Town Arvada, a company that specializes in Golden, maybe has just a few cabs. And I don't think that would be a problem at all. I think that the market would work very effectively there in providing better service and also in eliminating some of the service that's not as good.
We need to take a quick break here, but on the other side of this upcoming commercial break, I do want to ask you specifically about the process here moving forward, and also what kind of precedent that the newest cab company that had been approved in Denver, Union Taxi, what their experience might have to say to inform what you're about to go through with the PUC. Our guest is Tom Russell. He's an attorney with Mile High Taxi, or Mile High Cab, rather, that is seeking a permit to operate in the Denver metro market and is having quite a difficult time getting there. We'll return right after this on the Face the State Weekend Edition.